barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. It's gonna be an angry workout today. Angry workout today. Fucking forgot my headphones, man. And don't forget to join the Patreon. I'm going over different types of loans you can take out to purchase a property. Hey, let's jump into this. Just heard 78 go off, and you guys have sent me this and asked questions about how I feel. And I'm gonna take you back. Actually, Black Fight Fan referenced this too, but when I was doing that interview with Manny Robles, I read between the lines anyway, and I didn't want to go knee deep into it. I picked at it a little bit. I probed. The appropriate word is probe. I probed at it, but I also knew that he had to go to camp with Andy Ruiz, so I didn't want to push the envelope. So I deviated to the actual storyline, as opposed to what's actually going on today. You know, and when when Manny Robles said he deserves all that, a trainer never says that. A trainer is to keep the fighter hungry, to keep him inspired, to keep him in the gym, to keep him believing that he can climb to higher mountains, you know, higher peaks, you know. And when I watched that interview, I grew an affinity for their relationship, in addition to the sacrifices that he made for Andy Ruiz. You know, Andy Ruiz, I've known Andy. I live in LA. You guys know I've been covering boxing for some time. And if you go back to my interviews I did with Andy Ruiz last April, I was praising him. Part of the reason why I was praising him is because I knew what he have been going through in terms of how he felt about himself and what he was going through with Top Rank. So I wanted to be a positive influencer as much as I could, you know what I mean? And I liked Andy. You know, Andy reminds you of that kid that listens to hip-hop music in your neighborhood. He's not good enough to make the team, but he knows everything about the sport, you know what I mean? And he's best friends with the most popular kids in school. Big personality, hangs around a lot of girls, you know what I mean? But you end up fucking him, you know what I mean? Andy Ruiz kind of has that feel to me, you know what I mean? But and then when he gets his first piece of pussy, he falls in love. Yeah, I remember that grade school shit. And I was, man, my spirit was rooting for Andy Ruiz. When I say my spirit, the depths of me, the literally depths of me. And then when he said on that mic, when he said, I was out of shape, I didn't train. Bob, you just proved Bob Arum right. You just made Bob Arum Nostradamus. You just made Bob Arum one of the best promotional moves he ever made was letting you go because you're going to let him down eventually. And you made a lot of money. I'm glad you made a lot of money. Man, I'm glad you made a lot of money. I'm glad you stuck the zone up for everything that you could have. But you left a lot on the plate, man. You left a lot on the table. And I'll say this too, and I'm going to speak from my personal inspirational sources. Manny Robles, if not the only one of the few men that could have got you through that moment. And the reason why I say that is because Andy Ruiz considers himself a Mexican-American. I'm not sure what Manny Robles considers himself, but let's just say he's Mexican, right? And Manny's had some tough obstacles in his life. And that empathy that he had in his spirit in terms of losing family members, he saw that in you. He saw an empty vessel in Andy Ruiz. And this is just my opinion. I don't know this to be true. This is just my opinion. Okay? And he poured everything into Andy Ruiz. You know, he treated him like his son. And if you know Manny's story, you'll appreciate this. And Andy Ruiz took advantage of it till he got on top. And I don't like that, man. Andy Ruiz, I don't know what you've gone through. Your father said you wasn't listening to him. Obviously, you wasn't listening to Manny because you came in heavier. Don't run. Andy, don't run. Do not run. Do not run from your problems. Do not run from your insecurities. Please don't do it. The world needs to see you win. And I'm speaking for all my Mexican students and kids I used to have in Duarte, California and West Covina, California, because 70% of the kids that I taught were Mexican. You understand? I showed up every day. Ready to work, ready to get the work. You know what I mean? And they need your story, Andy. Your story ain't done yet. You know what I mean? The first 4 chapters were amazing. You got 16 more chapters to go. You know what I mean? And you got to focus on becoming the greatest man you can possibly become. Become the greatest. You need to become 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. Your get back got to be the greatest story ever told, the greatest story ever seen, the greatest story ever witnessed. You know, and I genuinely want that out of you. I believe you leaving parting ways with Manny Robles is going to adversely affect you from a spiritual component. I don't think because of the empathy that Manny Robles had in his spirit. You know what I mean? Like, Manny done been through some shit, man. And that's only the stuff that I've known through media outlets and just covering boxing. Only God knows what he's gone through beyond that, you know. And I believe he cared about you dearly, you know. He said he had a dream about you was going to become champion of the world. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But the fact that you had nothing and a man gave you everything. You had no money. You were basically homeless by your own admission. You were depressed. You thought about getting a job, quitting boxing. At 30-1, whatever your record, I know you only lost to Joseph Parker. So, you know, you're 1-2 in championship fights. You gotta get to 500, dog. You know, I mean, it just won't be against Deontay Wilder. But outside of Deontay Wilder, I genuinely wish you well. You know, but since I mentioned Deontay Wilder name, that's why we love Deontay Wilder. Personal accountability, never out of shape, takes blame for everything, takes the lead. You understand what I'm saying? Straight nigga. You know what I mean? All nigga. You know what I mean? And I respect that shit. I love the fact that I'm gonna get a yes or no from him. Maybe, nah, none of that shit. And that's a lot of the reasons why people respect me. You're gonna get a yes or no. I'm gonna ask the direct question, and if you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of people in boxing don't like me either, because they beta. They want to straddle the fence. I'd rather be a man. I'd rather have $1 million in alpha male equity than have $1 million. And I say that honestly. That's why it took me so long. I could have sold myself out a long time. I'm a very talented individual, just like you are. You understand? But I stayed 10 toes down, and as black fight fans say, I took the stairs. You know, so yeah, man. Gosh, this is not good news for me, man. And I felt it coming because there's been a lot of silence. You know, Andy Ruiz, get back to the basics, nigga. This is literally your pro debut reincarnated. That's all what it is. And you got to win your next 10 fights. That's all I'm saying. And more importantly, these Mexican young men in East LA and Boyle Heights and all over, and native Mexicans in their country, they look up to you, man. They were heartbroken when you told them you didn't train. But you want that little Mexican boy to train for his test that he has in Algebra 2. You want that little Mexican boy in Boyle Heights to cut those 4 pounds so he can wrestle Friday. You want that Mexican quarterback at East LA Community College to know every play and be prepared to play Santa Monica College on Friday night, but yet and still you won't get your ass in shape. Come on, man. Accountability is so important. I love and believe in personal accountability so much that I'm willing to be open about it. I don't hide who I am. I don't hide my character and what I believe in and what I stand for. And Manny Robles and Andy Ruiz, you know, every relationship has a sunset date, whether it's through quitting or whether it's through death or whether, you know, but every relationship is going to have a sunset date, whether we like it, love it, or hate it. But what I was reiterating to is the spiritual component between a Mexican man and a Mexican man. That's what I know. Regardless of who you have kids with, regardless of who you marry, regardless of whether she's black, white, Asian, you're still going to be, and I'm speaking about me, I'm still going to be a black man. And what I know about being a black man in America is that I have a spiritual kindred spirit to the next black man. I don't care if he sold drugs. I don't care if he married a white woman. I don't care if he has mixed kids. I don't care if he's HIV positive. I don't care if he ran the streets of Harlem like Malcolm. You know what I mean? Or I don't care if he got his doctorate degree at 19 like Martin Luther King. I know that I have a spiritual connection with every black man on earth. I know it. And that's what I abide in. That's what I stand in. That's what I believe in. And I think Manny Robles and Andy Ruiz going that 16-week run that they had, however long they were in camp, from beating that big Russian to beating Anthony Joshua, that only happened because he and Andy Ruiz were together. And so I stand by that, man. I wish everyone well in this situation. But Andy Ruiz, hold yourself accountable. Manny Robles, I wish you well moving forward. That's all I can say. I'm going to reach out to Manny Robles today. I'm working out till about 12:30, 1 o'clock today. It's about 8. It's 9 o'clock right now. So give me a few hours. I'm going to reach out to him because he may be spontaneous and say, let's do it now. So I'm going to reach out to him about 1 o'clock. And hopefully he responds to me and see what we can do. So anyways, man, Barbershop Conversation, man. Don't forget to join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. Barbershop Conversations on Patreon. Click the link in the description box. I appreciate y'all. Peace.